Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Book Review Session. And I'm excited that we're having this session today. The book we'll be reviewing is titled HR on Purpose, and the author is Steve Brown. My name is Oluyemi Adeosun, and I'm excited that I am not the book discussant or the book reviewer. The book reviewer is Adebisola Adegboye, and I have a very brief profile about her that I will quickly like to read to us. Adebisola is an HR operations associate with a strong focus on supporting employee experience. She is passionate about building efficient people-first systems and currently expanding her expertise in strategic HR interest in succession planning, talent development, and global HR certifications. Talking about certifications, she has the PHRI certification. She is also a graduate of Child Education Bachelor's from the prestigious Tai Sholari University of Education. Ladies and gentlemen, discussing the book titled HR on Purpose, let's welcome Adebisola Adegboye. You have the floor, my sister.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I'm so honored to be here today. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. So we just dive right into the business of tonight. We had a very interesting book to read in our book club, of course, HR Mentorship Book Club this month. And the title of the book is HR on Purpose. Um, I have a question, sir. Is it okay for us to have just a brief chat? Let me ask the people, when you see this book, what comes to mind? Is that okay, sir?
Yes, but they'll need to raise their hand so that they can unmute and speak.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
in case people respond, move on so you don't become dependent on their response or not.
All right. Okay. For those of us that have not read the book yet, or for people like other audiences that maybe are not in the mentorship group for book reading, when you see HR on Purpose, I mean, briefly, can you tell us what comes to mind? Okay, it looks like we don't have any responses. I'll just proceed. So HR on Purpose is basically diving into the nitty-gritty of HR, really. I mean, there's this part where people tell you need to learn the technical jargon in this field, so that when you speak, people will be moved, oh, this person has content, this person has substance in himself or herself. But really, HR on Purpose is not like that. I mean, Steve Brown has already he has exposed us to the world. I mean, so I'll begin with chapter 1, all apologies. So a summary of chapter 1 says that there are a whole lot of people that would tell you, oh, what do you do? I'm sorry, I'm in HR, I am an HR practitioner. I'm like, okay, why are you sorry about it, really? I mean, this is your field, you need to own it. So this is the summary of chapter 1, all apologies. You don't need to apologize for being an HR personality. I mean, HR professional, I beg your pardon. I mean, HR is all encompassing. It means that for you to be in this field, you are knowledgeable, you have substance. So really, we should not apologize for being HR. We should not apologize for being in this field. We should not even apologize for being the corporate errand gear, because at this, okay, so there's entry level, mid, intermediate, and then experts. So I know that maybe we have more of people in the entry level, just like myself here, and you feel like, oh, you're the errand girl, so to say. Irrespective of that, it's something that we are meant to be proud about, to own it with all confidence, with all humility, but not with apologies. Now, apologies shouldn't be, it shouldn't be one of the features that we are displaying as HR professional. I mean, we do recruitment, we manage operations, we manage HMO, we manage benefits, we manage succession planning, we manage strategic planning, workforce planning. It is all encompassing. It is a whole lot. So we should be proud of being HR professionals. Do I still have our attention? I want to see our reactions to say, oh yes, I'm proud of this profession that I am in. Okay, so moving on to chapter 2. The title of chapter 2 says 30 days or else. What is this saying in summary? So the author of this book actually he started like most of us, and then in the bid to impress his employer in chapter 2, he wanted to be, oh, I'm the HR professional, you hired me so that I can manage human operations. But there's a twist to it. The CEO had gave him a task saying that I need you to get the names of all of the employees across board, across all the countries where we have presence, get their names, and let's take it off from there. I mean, I'm very intrigued about this challenge because it actually would propel me as an HR person to know the people, not just know them by names, know them by oh, this is your role, this is what you do for us, know them beyond what they do. Knowing my employees beyond, oh, you're the sales manager, oh, you're doing very well. No. So this is actually me owning my space, me knowing that, oh, there's a person in sales that actually he speaks French. I mean, he speaks Hausa language in case we are trying to have a presence in the north. This person would be a go-to person for us. Knowing people beyond their roles, knowing people beyond this is what this person does for us. So putting this in application now, it's actually telling us to own our space, more like riding on the foundation that we built in chapter 1, which says that we should not apologize about being HR. So this is owning your space. Oh, I don't want to just sit in my shell. Oh, I'm the HR person. I don't relate to people because I sit on confidential information and all of that and all of that. Owning your space. I mean, even in another challenge that I actually saw in the book was he left his office. I mean, everybody knows that the HR office is the principal's office. So he left that office, he left his table, the four walls of his office, and then went to the production room just so he could relate to people, let people know that, oh, I am rooting for you guys, I'm actually here for you, and I have your back, really. So one thing that I think that we could apply from this chapter is to step out of our rooms, like step out of our offices, step out of our shells. For people that say, oh, I'm not much of an extrovert, I just like to talk to people that talk to me. No. So this book is actually reminding us that no, we are here for the people and we need to let them know that we are here for them and we've got their back. Speaking about application, after I read this book, I actually did step out of my shell. When I get to the office, I walk to, because in my organization there are two aspects. So we have the tech wing, we have the business wing. So I just do a walk around. Hi guys, how you doing this morning? I just show bands, play with them, let them know that I am not a masquerade. I am not a principal. This is not a school. You can walk to me, can tell me, oh, I don't like the way people are treating us. I don't like that people are not prioritizing whatnot that it is about me, really. So speaking about application, we can, I believe that this would work for people that are not even in entry level. I believe that there's something that could work for us in this chapter. So yeah, moving on to chapter 3, it says, the title says vessels or choose a side. And then my take-ins from that book is that fairness is actually defined by individuals. Speaking about policies, now there's a policy that speaks to how we live, our guidelines, leave policy, how to deal with employees that maybe lost their pregnancies, or our female employees that are close to delivery date, and all of those policies. So it's simply saying that we shouldn't neglect the human part, in as much as there's policies that we've put in place for people to ensure that there is conformity, there is orderliness in the place of work, right? There's a part of speaking to the human in human resources. A very good example is, say somebody maybe lost their parents or something that requires them to maybe work from home or just take a rest from work for a short period of time, and maybe there's no we don't even have a policy that speaks to whatever that employee is going through at the time. That is where human, like you, the human in us comes into play. I shouldn't say that, oh, we don't have any policy that speaks to that. Just figure it out yourself. No, as human resources practitioners, we shouldn't do that. So we should let the human in human resources be very evident. I mean, we should be the change that we want to see in our people. Imagine me as an HR not reflecting empathy to my people. I mean, they won't be respect for this career path generally. And it's funny how people from maybe their previous place of work, or maybe they even had stories about, oh, HR this, HR that, they are horrible people, they are this, they are that, they are far from being pleasant. And then they bring that mentality into their new space. Say, I just employed a new hire and he has that mentality already. So it's Steve Brown is telling us to rewrite the story, be the change that we want to see. In as much as a whole lot of us are not very welcoming when it comes to change, it is a gradual process here. And I could be that change that I want to see in people. I actually do believe that being fair in quotes now to another person, it might not be, oh, no, I expect more from HR. I expect more from my human resources business partner. So being fair is actually relative. I mean, what is fair to me might not be fair to you, but in all, let us try to be what's the word now? There's a word I'm looking for. I don't want to use the word fair. Let us try to, let me use open, so that whoever it is that is hearing this part of the story and hearing another part to say that, oh, at least the human resources practitioner, at least they tried. I mean, even though they were not able to solve the challenge, they still showed that they care about me. So I'm going to move on to chapter 4 now. The title of chapter 4 says, Ask Me Why. So there's a question in this chapter that Steve Brown proposes that we ask ourselves, like, why am I in this profession? Being able to answer this question would actually solve a lot of problems. To solve some challenges that we ourselves might be struggling to agree to accept in this profession, because people would actually like come to test you. Oh, you're the HR professional. And because humans being human, we like to try new boundaries. We like to not frustrate really now, but simply being human, not being boxed. So people would most likely come to try you. They would come to ask you questions that would annoy you. One of the lessons that I actually learned from Steve Brown is not to take these things to heart. I mean, of course, we are humans, we have emotions. Employee might come to your table and be like, what not, and then management is also pulling your leg, pulling your head, pressing your neck. Why are things not being done? Why is this going west? Why is this going south? Why is this being like this? So being able to answer why would solve over 50% of all of those problems, really. And being able to remember that people over processes, in as much as we've put these processes in place to ensure that there is order in the place of work, people are not just doing whatever it is that they find right at that time. We need to ensure that people comes first. And then another thing is to model the behavior that we want to see in people. Like I mentioned earlier, we want to see empathy, like we want to project, let me even not use empathy, we want to project excellence as one of the values that we are building in this company. HR as a person, you need to lead by example, right? I want to build excellence, and in my processes, people would call my attention to it. Oh, see this mistake. And that person will come, oh, see this mistake. I mean, we are humans, right? But mistakes could be minimal. So in as much as I'm human, I need to also sit down, look through whatever it is I'm dishing out to people and ensure that there is excellence in it. People see, just like children, people see, children see adults and then imitate, emulate whatever it is that adult is doing around them. Employees, to an extent, are also like this too. Oh, HR is coming late. I can get to the office around 10 a.m. I mean, HR themselves who are supposed to be compliant officers, they come late. So who am I? I mean, so it is advisable, I mean, best practice, not just advisable now, best practice that we model what it is, whatever it is that we want to send our people, model it to them. There's a model in this book that says, do, show, and then review. I mean, me doing it, people are seeing it, and then if it is not working, we go by it, we review it, and then we strategize. I want to be so sure that people are still with me. Hello, doctor.
Yes, you can hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank
Right
you.
on. Mhm.
Okay, moving on to chapter 5. The title of chapter 5 says Lava Lamps, Music, and Toys. This is basically about culture in the place of work. HR professionals are believed to be very pragmatic, very adamant in their doing. It's either we do it this way or there's no way at all. But Steve Brown is telling us that no, we don't have to be, we don't have to go just one way. I mean, there are different ways that leads to the market, just like an adage in Yoruba says, different ways leads to the market. The fact that this is what the company wants does not mean that there's no other way to go about it. In that book, Steve Brown says that in his office, he has a whole lot of artwork, beautiful artwork, to show that, oh, it's all about diversity, really. There's diverse character that our employees are projecting to us. And me, as the HR professional in this space, I can handle you. Bring it on. You want us to go the soft way? I'm here. You want us to go the not so pleasant way? I'm here. Although I'm going to deal with it with logic. And aside the fact that we have one culture, maybe one very known culture in the place of work as a whole, in the other sub-departments, in the other sub-units, there are cultures that they also portray in their department, right? Say people in the tech wing, they usually just go out or order pizza for themselves, just have with that we need to play hard. So as HR practitioners, we also need to imbibe this so that people can come and then be themselves with you. I mean, even tell you things in confidential, aside the fact that you are the HR person, they can come to you and just divulge information that you didn't ask them to you, really. Because of course they know that, oh, you are not a one-way person. I can't think of a better way to put that now. You're not a one-way person. We can come to you. You're somebody that we can talk to. We have a friend in our HR, not just, oh, the management says this and that is what we are doing. Is either the management way or no other way at all? No. So we need to change our thinking, change our thought process about the culture in our place of work, really. Because there are many cultures. And to think that culture is actually sitting on our table as HR, it is not for the senior management, it is not for the CEO, it is for us as HR practitioners. Moving on to chapter 6, bottom shelf thinking. The summary of this chapter is basically about communication. Communication in the sense that I'm going to refer back to chapter 1 now. Learn technical jargons in the business, speak to people, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. Your people are not, they don't understand what you're saying, right? You need to come down to their level, let them know that, oh, so when I say we want to do succession planning, this is what I am referring to. When I say we want to do employee survey, this is what we are referring to. When I say pulse survey, this is what I am referring to. So basically, don't just pick big grammars, really. Communicate with your people. I mean, what is communication if the receiver does not understand whatever it is that you're trying to communicate? So as HR, we should do away with, maybe not in the whole conversation, but when we're talking to our people, we should try to do away with using technical jargons, just so we are able to communicate with them, ensure that, oh, the employee in customer service understands what I'm saying as the HRBP. They understand, they are not lost. I'm not outside the department and they are asking, oh, what is HR saying? I don't understand what she was trying to communicate with us earlier. No, we should do away with using technical jargons. Of course, when we are in the business room speaking to other professionals, by all means, we can use the technical jargons. I mean, this is we understand our language. But when we are speaking with other people outside the HR field, let us try as much as possible to speak in to speak in the language that they understand. All right. Moving to chapter 7 now. It says be strategic daily. Be strategic daily, but how am I supposed to be strategic? I mean, I come to the office, I do my work, I do whatever it is that my manager assigns to me. I talk to the people, even on days when I don't feel like talking to them, I talk to them. So when we say be strategic, Steve Brown has made us understand that when we say be strategic, it is simply you being proactive. You know, HR are known to fight fires. I mean, the fire has erupted already, and then the management is calling you to come and quench the fire as per firefighters that we are, right? So being strategic simply puts us in the position of being proactive. Proactive in the sense that, oh, say our HMO renewal is supposed to happen in the next couple of months. As HR, I shouldn't wait for, say, the eve of renewal before I start initiating the conversation that, oh, finance, you need to pay this person, you need to pay that person, we need to renew our HMO, putting the employee's life at risk. That is not me being strategic. That is not us being strategic. Being strategic puts us in the place of foreseeing fires. I mean, in quotes now, foreseeing fires and then putting processes in place to ensure that that fire is being quenched even before it arrives. I mean, the problem is being solved before it arrives. By doing this, the management is actually going to respect us as being strategic, not just being the admin person, not just being that person that can call when we've made all the decision. We just need you to execute. That is what we need you to do. No. So we can rewrite the story. We can rewrite the narrative by being proactive, by being strategic. The very good example is the HMO that I mentioned earlier. There's an employee whose wife is pregnant, and of course, the wife is also a part of the company by extension. And then they need to deliver the HMO, the HMO subscription has expired. I mean, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't put our people's life at risk. It could even be something minute, not life threatening. That is where being proactive comes in, being strategic. And this is not just about HMO, it's something we need to do on a daily. Something we need to do on a daily. I have a project I'm working on. I need people from marketing, I need people from other departments to come together to help me get this thing done. I shouldn't wait for them to start sending me reminders. Oh, HR, where are we on this thing? No, that is not being proactive and being strategic by extension. I need to own my task. I need to own my space. I need to, this is not just speaking to me, pardon my French. We need to own our space. We need to actually sit on the process, let people know that, oh, this is where we are with this project, this is what we are about to do this week, this is where we are going to be the following week. Basically being strategic about HR. Yes, this topic is a very interesting topic. Chapter 8, it says all by myself. All by myself. Oh, because HR, like I mentioned earlier, we sit on confidential information. We sit on people's salary. I mean, we are privy to people's salary, we are privy to the benefit that they are entitled. Have friends in this place. You can't be in HR and then be friend with somebody that is in customer service. You can't be in HR and then be friend with somebody that is in sales. It doesn't work that way. No. We should rewrite this narrative. The fact that we are actually HR does not mean that we can't make friends with people. Of course, there's a boundary. I mean, for instance, say because oh, I'm a friend to somebody in accounting department, and then we're trying to maybe promote or terminate somebody's employment. As HR, because we are friends, I need to now come and sit you down and tell you that, oh, can you see this happened and this is what the management is saying that we should do to you, whatnot, whatnot. No, It shouldn't be that way. So being alone shouldn't be the order of the day. I mean, there are other communities of people that we could join to ensure that the pressures from work is not eating into our lives, and we're not being ourselves really. I mean, I'm thankful for HR mentorship, even though some of us are very silent on the group. I'm positive that after this book review there will be a positive change in that. I already like pledged my allegiance on the group that I'm going to be very active now going forward. So basically it's saying that we shouldn't be alone. We shouldn't be alone as HR. There are people that have gone through this state that I am going through now, that I could glean from their wisdom. I could see things from their perspective. I could share my challenges with them. There's something that they have that could actually benefit me. So what this chapter is telling us is basically to network, to explore, to go outside of our shell. I mean, networking in quotes might not be my thing, it might not be your thing, but there's a place of being kind, which is going to take us back to being human. I mean, this is even outside the workspace. You could just be in a place, find yourself in a place, and then there's an opportunity for you to be kind. Just be kind. It will come back to you. But this is within the aspect of being able to network people that are in your space so that you can rub minds together. You might not even necessarily have a problem, but then they have a challenge that they need you to solve. Imagine that I don't know that person. How would I be able to help? So basically, as HR, trust me, we are not alone. I've gone to Madam Z's DM. I've asked her questions about, there's a challenge that somebody needs to deal with. How do you think I should go about this thing? How do you think that I could solve this problem? And then she gave me advice on that. She gave me an advice on that, and it helped really. So being in a community would definitely be of help in ways that we can't even imagine. It would definitely be of help. So I like to implore us, I like to admonish us, more like the book of wisdom says, I want to admonish you that let us be active on the HR community. I'm thankful for this group once again. So on this note, I want to drop my pen. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you so much, Adebusola. Thank you, Adebusola. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we would like to take comments, observations with respect to the book. For those of us, as many of us have read it, please share any insights from any chapter or across chapters. Please do raise your hands up so that we can take your contributions very quickly. She's just the lead discussant. She's not supposed to be the only discussant. All right. I don't know, Ezine, maybe you want to say some things while others are jarring to raise their hands and contribute.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Bisola. It was great. And it was straight to the point. You know, you just hammered on your points and then boom, 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 boom. I made a few notes from what you said. There was something you said that made me chuckle. Say HR is not a masquerade. And I think people need to realize that. But then you're going to have to make people realize that by how you put yourself out there. And I love how you said you applied what you have read, because it's one thing for us to read these things. We are doing hee ha 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 inside the group and making comments, but the essence of us reading the book is to apply, you know, whatever it is that we have learned into our day-to-day activities. That's when you will see the impact, right? Because sometimes you might apply something, you might get resistance, but then, you know, as you keep applying and as you keep practicing, you fine tune yourself. So I really, really love that part about you applying it. It's so important, right? It's really important. And of course, your feedback or your review in the group and everything, I made notes from the things you said in the group and a few other people. So fantastic review. I really like Steve Brown because I was thinking about it today. Was it not just today, but other days? Yeah. I was like, I'm sure some of us share the same sentiment. For me, he feels like my comrade. He feels like my my animal twin. Like there were things he said in the book. I'm like, oh my God, this is so me. And I like that everybody could relate, or some of us that were active,
Actually,
we could relate with the
yeah.
things he was saying. Remember, we had this conversation before the review started, how we said,
Yeah, we
you know,
did.
the part where he talked about, simplifying policies, and how, we talked about how he even made the book so simple. The book has so many chapters. You see that we spread it over a couple of months, but it's so easy to read. Yeah. I know, Bisola, you've pretty much finished the book. It's so easy to read the book. And so he has applied everything he's telling us into the book, right? So it's not that he's just talking, he's actually walking the talk. It's just such a gem. And it made me also remember a philosophy that was taught to me in the early days of my career. Maybe that's what makes me the kind of person I am, or the kind of HR person I am. It's a philosophy called FISH. And what does it say? It just says it's based on 4 principles: be there, play, make their day, and choose your attitude. That it's pretty much bringing your personality to fore as a HR person. I've had conversations with people, and they feel like HR is too stuffy. You feel like we are gods. But then sometimes we're not allowing our personalities seep through our who we are, right? What attitude are you bringing to work? Yes, I know that it can be crazy sometimes. People can get on your nerves. But I remember in the group somebody asked that question. I said, the same way employees say that you get on their nerves, the same way they think you too, you get on their nerves. So what attitude are you bringing to work? Are you putting play in the work that you do? Yeah, you may say, isn't it, you're saying this thing, it's not easy like that now. But, it's the way it's like, you said something, what's his name? Steve asked the question. Ask yourself, why are you in HR? Why?
Yeah.
That would set the tone for how you embrace what it is you do. And I think you also asked a question earlier. You said, we should say, whether we are proud to be HR. I say it every day, anytime I'm proud to be a HR person. I love what I do. So yeah, thank you. I see people have raised their hands, so let me give them space. Let me not
Yeah.
talk this. Yeah. Okay.
Also,
Maybe
at
Benga.
some point,
Sorry, Benga. Can Benga go ahead? Okay, Doc, you're
at
the
some
best.
point, it may be helpful to also read some of the contributions in the chat. Some people are typing their contributions.
Yeah. Bisola, maybe you want to read through, but let's give room to Benga. Benga raised his hand, and I guess we can now forward to other people.
All right, thank you, Izini. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. So just to pay attention to what Steve says, because I can remember when I had like a shift of industry coming from a real estate industry to like an advertising that has to do with creatives, and so all of that, I had like a industry shock. I was coming from a serious mood to a place that it's not like they don't take things seriously, but they like the music, background music. They like the office being decorative and all of that. And it took my MD to call me like, okay, Gbenga, come. I understand you are coming from a corporate world. If I'm going to a creative world where people wear earrings and they're all on dread, I'm like, guy, what is all of this? So like I had a no alcohol policy and she's like, no, come. For creatives, for the advertising agency, they need the alcohol to help them stimulate and all of that. Then I had to relearn, I had to make some adjustments. At some point, I'm just this office, I'll just stay in my office. Like, see, come, if you want to penetrate these guys, you can't be the office there. Like, so seeing the book say the same thing made me really laugh to say that all of these things, you would not know that they are issues, not until they become issues. Because at the end of the day, employees started jumping me to the MD. Because why? They felt that Gbenga is always too serious, always in his office and not interacting with people. So when I had a self-review from her, I had to like adjust that part. Like you said, you have to bring out your creativity. I had to start planting flowers in the office. I had to create a lobby where people can just take like maybe a cup of um, alcohol or something just to make them feel relaxed. I had to introduce PS5 in the office. All of those things were things I've never done in my 4 previous places I've worked. But coming to an industry that needed me to do it, I had to adjust. So it's just a charge-up call to other professionals to say that another career shock that will shock you is the fact that I was coming from a place we wear tie and suits on Mondays. I'm going to a place that you can just see someone in a two-piece and a palm. I'm like, guys, this is a Monday, right? But yes, it is like the trend. Steve made mention of it, that this idea of corporate, of coding, using dress codes and all of those things should stop. But we should make it flexible. That way you give the employees avenue to show themselves and feel relaxed and happy. And most importantly, like Ezine said, don't come to office burning. If you come, employees will not come to you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Benga. Thank you for sharing that. I can actually relate with the culture shock about dressing. I can relate 100%. All right. We can have Omoba now. Omoba. Hi, isn't it?
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Okay.
And
Good evening, ma'am.
very big thank you to our lady for taking us through that book review. Incidentally, I have read it before. I think anybody that is really into HR and is a good reader would have read Steve's book. And one of the things that this book has done is that it has removed the box that HR professionals had been put into and really put us on the surface of the human part. You know, when they say human resources, so he's been able to unveil us as human beings, HR practitioners, that we are human beings, not only to the people we're working with, but even to us ourselves, for us to know that we're human. We are not this masquerade that is sitting in one side, side room and looking at everybody and trying to see who is making a mistake or is doing something wrong and all of that, and who only brings out the stick when something has gone wrong.
Yeah.
He's been able to also break it down in such a way, just like everybody has been saying. He's made it so simple, he simplified it, that we can relate with it. And everyone has been saying, I can see a bit of myself. Oh, yes, that's just me. Oh, he's just talking about me. Oh, so it's so relatable. The way he has broken down the different, passages and all of that, the different chapters, he's made it so relatable. One of the things that I relate with the most is that human part, especially, when Debisola was talking about when things happen to people. There are rules, policies that has been put down, in every organization. When things happen, this is what you do. When somebody dies, this is what you do. Somebody's pregnant, they just had a baby, somebody's wife. It's all been so codified in the policies. However, for us as HR practitioners and professionals, there's something that, I usually say when I'm training, I say there's what we call doing things right and doing the right thing. So doing things right is all about what the policy says. That's what the policy says. Do it that way. The policy says this, do it that way. That's doing things right. However, doing the right thing is the human part.
Yeah.
This person is a human being. How can we help you? How can we move away, or how can we see how we can fit in what the policy says? You understand? And also satisfying your own needs. I'll give you a good example of what happened to me. I'm a retired public servant, and I had one of my staffs, in public service back then, we don't have flexi working hours. There's a time to start work and there's a time to close. And there's this lady that works with me, and she lives very far. So really she needs to leave her house maybe like 5:30, 6 a.m. to get to work. And they have to sign in when they get to work, to sign in what time they get in and all of that. And there was this particular day, she got mugged at about 6 a.m., trying to get it. She was mugged, her bag was stolen, her office ID, everything, personal things to her. She was lucky that they didn't do anything to her. And so she came in really rather late. But And she said to me, it's because I'm always leaving home early. I said, what time will be most suitable for you to leave home without the fear of being mugged? And she said, if I can leave home at 6:30, at least the day is dawning, you know, it's brighter and all of that. But the policy says that she needs to be at work at 8 a.m. I know a lot of people think that public servants get to work at any time, but it's really not true. You know, it's 8 a.m. And what did I do? There's something that the policy says, get to work by 8 o'clock. There's something that I want to help her. And so what did I do? I said, you know what? I'm going to make a case for you. And really, because of what has happened to you, we have a police report. I could write that and make a case for you to say you will not be able to get to work for 8 a.m. We're looking at about 9 or 9:30. However, you will then work out your hours. So when everybody's closing at 4, you might need to close at 4:30 just to make up your hours. And she agreed to that. And that's what we did. And we made that official and we wrote it. So it's not about, people are not saying, oh, it's favoritism. Oh, she likes her. Oh, this and that. They saw that on the HR side of things, we had documented and we have found a way to justify the reason why, you know, we didn't have to do things, you know, how it is meant to be done, but we can also do things in a way that we're still satisfying, you know, what the policy is expecting us to do, but also being human or humane about the way we're going about it. So those are some of the things that, for me, that's really the core for me. Whenever I read the book, being able to put that, you know, saying it's a different thing it's one thing to do the right thing, but it's another thing to do things right. So we need to be able to balance that. And if we're able to balance that, it will cut across all the other things that we do as HR practitioners and professionals. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I mean, just like you said, the book is so relatable. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we have Victoria. Please go ahead, ma'am. I don't know if you could unmute your mic.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Sorry, I had to join a bit late, but I want to relate to what Mama just said. She mentioned something about standing in for someone. Now, I have a case similar to that, but now in my own organization, it's not just one person. There are over, like, let's say 4 to 5 persons. And today I was just told that such persons, they would kind of start subcharging them if they take permission coming late for more than once. So in this case now, how do you follow up with? So, because if it's just like you want to speak for one person, it would have been fine. But now you're having way over more than 5 persons because of the distance in which they're coming from, and they have to report before 8. And I keep seeing them, especially on Monday morning, you see them on the hub. Oh, I'll be running late. I'll be running late. Now the rule says just once in a month. How do you cope with such? Like, you can't just speak for more than 5 persons and they will be subcharged depending the number of days they run late in a month. So I don't know if Mama can help me to
Yes,
answer that question about
okay. Yeah, let me try. So one of the things that I would say you should do as a lead HR person in your organization is to begin to gather data and statistics, gather information. You understand? You already have that data that says it's because they live far. And except they move from where they live, there's nothing that can be done. They will continue to come late. And that's not fair. They can't help where they live. One of the things that you need to then do is to rejig that policy. Talk to your employers. Make a case for them. These are people that, you know, we can't consistently, they will definitely be late more than once. You understand? unless you, and of course you would have done your due process, ensure that that is a genuine reason. The address that they have in their letters of appointment matches where they say they are living. It is far. So all of those little things needs to be established, that they really live far. It's really an issue getting to work on time. There's nothing that they can do about it. When you have all of this, evidences, you then present it, and then you then say, you know what? If they don't come in early, can they work more than, can they work and close later? Or is it going to be their lunch? I don't know how long they are late for. If they're entitled to an hour's lunch break, can they walk through their lunch? Do you understand? Can they, so those are things, but definitely there has to be something in the policy. Unless you have something like, a caveat in your policy, you will never be able to. And if you don't want people to flout it, you can just say this caveat is for these 5 people because they are the ones that have come. So you might put a memo to say, if there's anyone, these are the people. If anybody doesn't approach HR to say they have a problem, then you are not going to leave it open. Those that have a problem would have to approach HR. It has to be established beyond reasonable doubt that they do have that problem. And there will be some kind of written thing, under that, so that you can then give them that leeway. But it has to be, a policy that's surrounding it. Okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We have a question, and would appreciate if you can help us answer. So the question says that, is it legal to subcharge them for running late? Can they work extra time to make up? Or can you just adjust their time to 9 to 5?
So for me, I don't know what the organization policy says. So that would have to go into the organizational policies if it says that that's what is going to happen for people, because I know that there are some organizations where, yes, it is there in their policies to say that if you work, if you don't come to work, it will be deducted from your salary. If you don't do this, it will be deducted from, particularly those that are, the daily pay or the contracts and all of those ones. It is usually sometimes like that. So that's another thing, the madam would have to look into, so that, if you have an employee that is very clued up, they might sue you. They might sue that organization. So these are the things that you really need to look at. If you know that it's not in your policy, you better start telling your, the owners, your CEOs that, listen, this thing that we're doing is not in the policy, or we can't just be doing it because somebody might just sue us, under the labor laws and all of that. So yes, it's something that they need to look into in their policies. If it's something that's been established, then they can do it. But if it's not, they need to review that. And was there another question?
No, thank you very much, ma'am. We don't have any more questions at the moment.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you too. Okay, should I proceed to read the comments in the chat box?
Yes, please. Yes, you read all the comments so that it will enrich those who will listen to the YouTube session. They won't be able to read the comments. You understand?
Okay. All right. So Madam Isney says that she's definitely proud to be an HR professional. And then Madam Uche says that chapter 4, our highlight from chapter 4 is that open-minded is a good thing because that makes you curious, which will in turn enable us to identify areas to be improved upon and quicken creative solutions. Hence, there is no problem with asking questions because it can help to uncover the root cause of problem, which enables innovation. To put a context to that, asking questions would actually lead to innovation. It will lead to creative ways to solving problems generally. Chapter 5, highlight from chapter 5 says that don't be too serious all the time. Mix professionalism with playfulness. Play with your people. HR professionals should foster an engaging and positive work environment by encouraging creativity and playfulness, which can increase employees' morale and productivity. Chapter 6, understanding servant leadership. Yes. Build strong relationship and team spirit with the art of prioritizing people's need. Be empathetic and humble, even as a leader. Create and enable a supportive environment as HR professionals, not just in our workplace, but every aspect of our lives as leaders. Set the example you want people to follow. As HR people are looking at us, chapter 1, let our everyday routine or habits create the strategy you want to see. Consistency in habits, good habits, and resilience in doing strategic tasks per day and per time enable long-term success. Just be consistent and resilient, or be determined by making progress each day, and one day you will see all good steps lead to your good goals. Madam Ezine says, doing things right and doing the right thing. A classic example of being people-centric with policies. You're concerned about your people and you still want to satisfy the management in court. Okay, this is more like a shout out. So Madam Ushe says, thank you, Adebisola, for giving us your honest outlook on this book. Your emphasis that we are human and not a masquerade, sitting in one room, makes the book interestingly funny and relatable as outsiders may see Steve HR. The inner fears of newbies, entry-level HRs that are in practice but doing traditional practice, just makes some persons want to argue. Louding your inner voice, and we hear all shakes and passion for the book. Thank you for showing everyone through this review that regardless of what anyone thinks, keep your strength, ask questions, keep asking, we keep learning, and one day our length and consistency will pay off. Okay, this is for this is a shout out to ma'am. What an insightful session, ma'am. Love the new narratives. Okay, okay. We have a question here. I have a question regarding organizations that don't pay pension and pay because employees are on probation and they see them as contract staff during the 6 months probation.
So Adebisola, let's keep to the book.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's stay focused, please. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I can see your response already. And then the last comment here says from Madam Victoria, thank you plenty, ma. The surcharge is part of the policy and commonly to make their policy. Okay. This is writing on the question she asked earlier. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for listening to me.
Let me just say one or two things with respect to that issue of lateness. Okay. And I'm saying this with due respect and all sensitivity. Again, when we are hiring and recruiting, these are some of the subtle things we should consider. Please, if you live in this area, don't vex. I love you. It won't be good. Your office is at Victoria Island or Lekki Phase 2. You're going to hire somebody living at Mowe Bafo. Don't you know that's a recipe for lateness? You understand what I'm saying? Well, on a good day, the person may not come late, but when do you think that person will be leaving the house? And that's why, depending on the job function, you look for people in a reasonable circle. So even if it is mainland, for example, you'll be looking at Bute Meta, Surulere, Yaba, Bagada. By the time you are entering Ogun State, the person is literally living in another state. You understand what I mean? Now, that is not to say you should eliminate anybody that is living far away. But if you know that your job is not flexible, I mean flexi timing, virtual opportunities, and that if the person comes late, it will impact on productivity, or the person is a front desk, and if they come at 9, customers might have been coming in since 8, then you may need to make it clear before you extend an offer that you have somewhere to stay close by Monday to Friday, and then you go on weekend. So these are some of the realities we need to consider. Okay, so imagine this person coming late now. Imagine this person is a pilot. Would you keep all the passengers in the plane waiting? Imagine it's a doctor, a surgeon. Will you be keeping patients waiting? Imagine this person is a newscaster and you are supposed to read 8 o'clock news. So you will keep the listeners waiting. So I'm just trying to provide that other side because it's not in all contexts that lateness can genuinely be tolerated. If you want to catch a flight and they are late, you know it may cost you missing your connecting flights in another country or in another location. So I'm saying this so that we balance this, okay? On a lighter note, if you want to rent house, I know many people today, they have their own houses in Ikorodu, but they are tenants in Yaba. And you get why? So that I'll be, every day you'll be saying, excuse me, trailer fare today, boss, it rained yesterday, and so on and so forth. Just wanted to put that there to balance the perspective. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Dr. Okay.
Ezine, any closing comments? Any other thoughts, Ezine? Don't run away.
No, I'm here. It's the spotlight is on Bisola and she's done a fantastic job. And I love the conversations that came up, especially from Omoba. I really love the way she tackled, that's why we beg that please, we need to see more of everyone because, we have lots of gems inside, right? We have lots of gems in our in the group and everything. And it's when you hear people speak, you hear the depths of knowledge, right? And that's why we even implore people, come out and do these book reviews because look at Bisola gave us a fantastic perspective. And I mean, those of us in the book club saw her magic already, that she put in display. And we have a couple of other people like that, but we need people to please come out. Let's see, because there are lots of gem houses in there, powerhouses that have so much to give. So please, thank you to, everyone. I had my learnings. I made my notes. So like you read I was re-echoing what Omoba said, where she said, doing the right things versus doing things rightly, taking notes because we never stop learning. No matter what stage of our career, we're all learning, so, and it's good to rub minds with everyone here, and in our groups to hear what people have to say. So, I mean, for me, fantastic. You did a great job, Bisola, and thanks to everyone that participated. We could have been more because, I mean, the book is very engaging, but we'll come to that as per participation. But thank you, Bisola, and thank you, Doctor, once again.
Everyone, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bisola and Ezine, our dependable, reliable, moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, we've gotten to that point where we unmute and say thank you to our facilitator, our discussants, for taking time. One, to read the book. Two, to share our thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bisola.
Thank you, Bisola.
Thank you, Bisola.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Take your flowers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Let's lava lamps, music, and toys.
What?